Hello, happy Monday, everyone. Hope your week is off to a good start. I had about an hour of an open window here, so thought I would jump on and talk about something I stumbled upon, a strategy I stumbled upon around, when was it, 2013, 2014. It was a small strategy that I implemented in our business, and it completely transformed everything. This was one of those big paradigm shift moments for me. And so I wanted to share it with you, and my hopes is that it inspires you to make some small, emphasis on the word small, changes, improvements in your business that could have some dramatic consequences, dramatic positive consequences for you and your team and your business. And so we're talking about a term called Kaizen. And by the way, if you are listening live right now, if you can let me know in the comments, #live underneath this video, that would be awesome. If you're listening on the replay, if you could just do #replay underneath this video, let us know that you're here. That would be awesome as well. So we're talking about the title of this quick training is The Power of Kaizen and why you should focus on making things easy for your teams. And I want to talk about this is far greater than a single win, a triple win. There are, in terms of impact in your organization, if you implement the strategies I'm going to be sharing with you, we're talking about reducing your turnover in your business. We're talking about transforming your culture from problem-oriented team members to solutions-oriented team members, where rather than complaining, people are constantly coming up with new and better ways of operating within your business on a daily basis without you having to be there doing all the thinking. Improvements in your productivity, which we're going to be focusing on here. And when that happens, it goes to your bottom line. So increasing your profitability by implementing what I want to share with you, increasing the morale within your business. And guess what happens when you increase the morale for your teams and your business? Your internal customers will take better care of your external customers, right? When you have happy team members, they are going to take better care of your customers, who are ultimately the ones who put food on the table. And as a result, everybody's going to get a greater sense of fulfillment, because we're talking about the most important, valuable asset for all of us in all of our lives, which is our time. So what we're looking at here, and this comes back to one of the exercises that we do in manufacturing, which is a spaghetti diagram. And again, this is not specific to manufacturing at all. This applies to what we're looking at here in the red is waste. Now, whether you realize it or not, there is a ton of waste present within your organization. There always will be, and the name of the game is to cut out the waste systematically. Could be digital. We're talking about doing things more than once when you don't have to. So redundancies, it could be waste, right? Going in the wrong direction due to lack of training, wrong people in the seat, lack of clarity. I thought they were doing it type stuff is going to be waste. All of that waste is the equivalent for you of leaving a window open in the wintertime. So you're paying for that heat regardless. You've got all these open windows. Think about you just bleeding money out of your organization because of all this waste that you can't see. So this is the name of the game. And the easiest analogy for you to think in terms of a spaghetti diagram in manufacturing, what we want to do is cut all of the unnecessary waste, right? Think in terms of your kitchen, and I'll give you a concrete example here. If you have, let's just click on here. Think in terms of any kitchen where you have your dishwasher here, and I'm willing to bet that you have your cutlery right close to your dishwasher. And I'm willing to bet you have your bowls and plates pretty close as well. I'm willing to bet if I went into anybody's kitchen, they would not have their cutlery drawer way on the other end of the kitchen. Why? Because guess what happens with the most frequently used items in the kitchen? You're going back and forth every time you have to unload it. So the obvious thing is, let's get it right close to the dishwasher so that we can eliminate that waste every time we're having to unload it, because that has to happen for most of us on a daily basis. So we do that naturally, and then once you've cut out the back and forth trips with your dishwasher, right? You're going back and forth. You want to cut that and make it as short and seamless as possible. Now, when it comes to the cutlery, right? You're putting away the cutlery. What you have is you have a place for spoons, knives, and forks. so that you're eliminating all those little micro tasks of the searching and the sorting, and that's waste as well. So naturally, without realizing it, we cut out the waste within our kitchen. And so you want to look within your organization as well. Think in terms of how you manage and organize folders. Anytime you're having to search for something or your team's having to search for something, that's waste. That is a form of waste in your business. And so what we did in our company, which completely transformed things, was I remember reading a while back a statistic that Toyota, which prior to Tesla was one of the most profitable, historically profitable car manufacturers in the world, Toyota, this is a big reason for that, is they average 90 improvements per employee per year. It's crazy to even try to wrap your head around that. When I read it, I went and implemented an improvement program defined by if there's something that bugs you, within our organization that is inefficient, and there is a solution that is easy and obvious, quick to implement, not a huge investment, and we can cut it out quickly and easily, then you are empowered and expected to go ahead and get rid of it, cut it out, right? We'll make this green. Cut that out so that we can eliminate that, give you the gift of time so that, focusing on the little improvements over time, we're going to streamline things. And after a while, it's going to compound. So our first year of implementing the Kaizen program, we got to, I think it was between 210 and 215 improvements implemented. Now, these were really, really small. These are two examples here. But after a while, it started to build momentum, and it became contagious. People were always looking for better, easier ways of doing things. So imagine an organization that has implemented over 200 improvements within a calendar year. I would go away for, a week at a time, 2 weeks at a time. I'd come back, and I wouldn't recognize the place, because here's two examples. This is really small, guys. Customers asking for the password for the Wi-Fi. Quick and easy improvement, quick and easy Kaizen. We put up the Wi-Fi there so they didn't have to ask anymore. Getting 30 seconds back from having to do that. Having to measure conduit and take out a tape measure every time. We just, somebody came up with the idea of just having the measurements stenciled onto the floor. Again, that saved a minute or 2 minutes, but here's the math if you want to look at these improvements. It's not, let's say that you free up 2 minutes on a tiny, tiny little task. You free up 2 minutes, but let's say that you're doing that thing once a day. 2-minute task, once per day. You put in this formula of, that's 5 times per week, times 4 times per month, roughly, times 12 months. That gets you, 480 minutes saved every year. Now, let's say that this 2 minutes saved, that is a term. I'm going to give you a term here. Non-value added activity. That's a non-value added activity. So in other words, if the customer was watching you do that, or your team do that, they would say, that doesn't give me any value. So we cut it out, all the non-value added activities, and we stick just with the things that drive value. Guess what? Not only do you have 480 minutes saved, but what if you have more than one team member and you apply this improvement times 5, right? So you've got 480 times 5, but not only that, what if you replace those 2 minutes with a value-added activity, because we now have 480 minutes to deal with? What if you turn it into a value-added activity with 10x the return? So those 480 minutes, what if you're reallocating those towards something that actually generates 10 times the value per minute? So this is, billing out jobs potentially. Whatever it is, we're focusing, reallocating that time on, if it's for a salesperson, right? You have given them back 480 minutes. The value-added activity, let's say it's 10x. You have saved 4,800 minutes times whatever the value of that person's, per minute rate is, the value that they bring your organization. Does that make sense? So if you guys are understanding and wrapping your head around this, if this is useful, if you could type Kaizen in the comments below, I hope this is useful for you. But really the name of the game, and two things I want to emphasize. Number one, with Kaizen, the most important thing to remember with Kaizen is keep it small intentionally, because these small improvements, they're easy to implement, right? So you eliminate the paralysis by analysis, right? And the procrastination, because done is better than perfect, right? So we focus on the small ones, they start to compound, and before long, a couple months roll by, and you have eliminated 2 minutes here, 2 minutes here, 2 minutes here. It starts to stack up. Your turnover is reduced because your team is engaged. Guess what? This drives engagement. Productivity, right? Productivity goes up. Profitability goes up. Morale goes up. Your customers are happy. Your team members are happy. Your turnover goes down. There is so much benefit to focusing on the small improvements in your organization. It is a huge competitive advantage. So I hope that was useful. Again, I just want to hop on real quick, share this story with you to provide a little bit of inspiration. Start small. Show your teams respect by, you will notice, I'll just do one more illustration here, and then I'll close this out. But you will notice in your team, the people, if you think about a tree, right? Here's your company, right? And here are your team members in your various departments. And here's you in the center of your company, right here. The people who are closest to the work are the ones who know the work best. You might have done it, months or years ago, but if they're doing it on a daily basis, they know the frustrations better than you do. They know it much better than you do. So number one, you show your team respect by asking them, is there anything that is frustrating you? Is there anything that is redundant? Is there anything that is taking us more time than you think we should? Do you have any improvement suggestions? What would you do if you were me in my shoes? Guess what your team's going to do? They're going to say, holy smokes, the owner cares about my opinion. That's amazing. You're going to turn on the light bulbs. You're going to wake them up. They're going to get excited because not only are you showing them respect by respecting them as experts in their area, but by doing this, you're also showing them that they have a sense of ownership. They have a sense of control over their environment, where if something's frustrating, you have given them and empowered them to come up with solutions. And when they do that, guess what the solutions are tied back to? They're tied back to their time. Time is our most precious asset. And if you can give your team members the gift of time while eliminating frustrations, it is such a huge competitive advantage. Again, so I hope that's useful, everyone. I will hop off here again. Let me know if you found any value, what your greatest insights were here. And even better, if you actually take some of this and implement it, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, a good book on this subject, by the way, let me share. It is called, if I can get it right, The Spirit of Kaizen. If you want to learn more about this subject, order the book, The Spirit of Kaizen. I think it will, you'll get some benefit out of it. But other than that, happy Monday, guys. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you soon.